Mach einfach nur so.
Ja. So. And we're live.
All right. Welcome all to this first community call here. Very happy to have you all join us here for our first community call since our launch. We're here today to talk about a bunch of very interesting developments that happen sometimes more behind the scenes, sometimes more involving all of you. And this is what we will talk about. So first of all, Amira will give us some update on what happened on the research front. So some of the things that are underpinning the HOPR protocol. Then we will have Robert talking about a development that happened in which we've also published before, which is DEADR, but it's a fairly profound change to the HOPR network. And then Jose will actually demo the release, which is called Diablerets. It is public as of now. So this will be the first sneak peek into what's going on there. And then Rick will show us what's been going on the DAO front, so community governance at HOPR, as well as some summary of marketing and community activities. And finally, I will be talking to you about some incentives and some staking opportunities that we've been working on here. So let's jump right in. Maybe let's start with a quick recap. So probably you know that with HOPR, you're not just sending a message directly to recipient, but instead a message is hopping through intermediate relay nodes. That's what you just saw in this animation on top. And these relay node operators, that's what you see in the bottom of this animation, are earning money in terms of HOPR tokens for providing privacy for senders and recipients of data through the HOPR network. So this is a super high level representation about what's going on in the network. And Amira will now talk about some changes that we implemented first on a theoretical basis before Jose is showing how that comes to actually play out in our implementation. All right, Amira, with that, over to you.
Thank you, Sebastian, and hello, everyone. So I'm going to talk to you about what actually happens behind the scenes and how actually these relay nodes relay packets and they gain money. So in order for them to gain money, they need to prove that they did a good job, that they actually transferred packets from one node to the other. And in order to do so, they have to answer to some challenges that are basically sent by the sender. And using a protocol that we call proof of relay. So proof of relay, it means that we provide the proof that we actually did a relay. So this happens that the sender, basically the packet creator or the sender, sends a challenge and a hint. So basically these two values that they create them and they send them through the Sphinx packet format in order to challenge these relay nodes afterwards to provide an answer for them. So actually both values are computed in this following way. So a hint, so actually the sender creates a secret shared value with every relay node within the network. So that secret shared value, let's call it SI, is used as a seed, which is then used afterwards using a hashmap-based derivation function to create two different values, which is SI0 and SI1. And also for the next node is SI plus 10 and SI plus 1. So a hint value is calculated as the value received from the next downstream node multiplied by the generator of the elliptic curve that we're using. So the sender will send a hint to a node, and then basically that hint is being sent, and then it will be verified by receiving that expected value as I+1 from the next downstream node. And it will be only received when that node I actually transfers the message to the next node. And also they have to respond to a certain challenge, and then of course they would gain a ticket. So moving forward to talk about what are the tickets. So going forward, so these nodes would have to provide a correct answer to those challenges to gain HOPR tokens, and that process happens through the following. So we have to provide a number of tickets that will be sent through every challenge that we open between relay nodes, and that amount is equal the path length, which means if we use like 3 relay nodes or 4, so that path length is computed, multiplied by the relay fees. Of course, when you send a transaction, you have to pay for these relay fees, and all divided by the winning probability of that ticket, because a ticket is not always a winning ticket and is not always a non-win ticket. So relay nodes have to actually transfer to the next node to make sure whether their ticket is a win or not. And then they take that ticket and they sign it, and then they send it to the next node. And then the next thing that happens is ticket is being validated. So each node would provide an answer using the value that they have, the secret value that they created with the package creator, the sender. It's as I0 plus SI+1, which is received from the next downstream node. So this is a response to the challenge. So when they have that response, then they would verify if it's multiplied by the generator, if it actually equals the challenge that they received previously within the Sphinx packet format within that, if it's correct or not. Then the ticket is validated. Now, how do they actually redeem tickets and gain HOPR tokens? So then, of course, nodes, when they transfer packets, they would receive an acknowledgement from the next node saying, "Hey, I actually received the packet," and then they would send them an acknowledgement that the relay node will use it afterward to redeem their ticket and to be able to retrieve HOPR tokens. And of course, they did their job correctly, and now they're winners. So this is how it happens behind the scenes. I hope it's an easy process for you to understand, but yeah, thank you. Moving forward to the next person. Thank you, Sebastian.
Awesome. Thank you for that overview, Amira. So if that was a little bit too deep for some of you, that is totally okay. That is why HOPR is not a manual process, but it's actually executed by your computer and the implementation that we provide here. But I thought for the ones that are into the process, it's kind of interesting to understand how we prevent cheating in the HOPR protocol and ensuring that relayers are actually doing an honest job for getting funds in the process. And now we're moving on to the second fairly big change that happened behind the scenes at HOPR. And that's something that Robert will talk about. So DEADR is a process that increases resilience and decentralization of the HOPR network. And Robert, please tell us more about that.
Exactly. And this affects mostly the way how we approach the network. As you see right now, there's a huge ball in the middle, and it covers the network. And when you look a little bit closer, you will see that nodes need to know how to connect to the network. And this is why it's called decentralized entry advertisement and decentralized distributed relaying. And this means that nodes need to find a way how to connect to the network. And this is what we have changed. In the past, we had it like that. We had a few nodes, like these nodes in the left. And these nodes were trying to reach a DNS entry, which is on the right, bootstrap01.hoprnet.org. And this DNS tree led to the actual bootstrap node and allowed nodes to communicate in the network. This had a few disadvantages. Mostly, it was centralized. And the other point is that it was limited to the HOPR association. And this makes it problematic because HOPR should be for everyone. Therefore, we wanted to change that. On the other hand, it was a bit difficult to maintain, so we changed it as well. What we're now doing, we're doing something different. And this is, we're announcing nodes that are willing to act as an entry node on-chain. So on-chain, we will have a list of nodes that are willing to help in the network. And each of these nodes that are trying to reach the network are fetching this list. And this has the advantage that it's now permissionless, which means that everyone who is willing to participate can participate. And furthermore, it is no longer limited to HOPR association. And on top of that, we also got rid of us relying on DNS entries, which means that even if DNS goes down, then our network might work as well. And more precisely, this means whenever a node is started, then this node will try to fetch all previously announced nodes from the chain. And then it will try to contact these nodes and will check out whether these nodes are online. It will then select the online ones. And if the node is as well reachable from the outside, it will announce itself on chain and which gives others the opportunity to reach the network. Afterwards, we will use these nodes to bypass NATs and discover other nodes. That was a quick excursus from the network side, and moving over to Sebastian.
Cool. Thanks for that, Robert. I guess many of you guys have been running HOPR nodes and might have experienced this in the past, right? That it was not possible to join the network, like you have been starting a node, but for some weird reason, you haven't been able to do stuff. And one big reason of that is that this bootstrap node, how we called it, was actually not available. And that then has these two implications: that you cannot access information on the distributed hash table, so the DHT, or that you're running behind a home router and therefore hidden behind an NAT and couldn't reach the network. So that is the two things that we hope to have changed to a much more resilient setup, as Robert described here. Good. So these were actually two pretty major changes which have been going on behind the scenes. But there have been a lot of other things also going on. So actually, this is a quick comparison of two releases. So the one was from March. So that's the version 1.68.5 compared to the one that we have now, which is version 1.72.14. So despite the fact that we have at least two pretty profound new features, we decreased the amount of code by 35%. And while people think, hey, actually, there's less things that HOPR has now, this is actually better, because as somebody said in software, it's a little bit like measuring the performance of an airplane in weight, right? A performant airplane is likely one that is lightweight and therefore has larger range. It's a little bit the same with software code. So by decreasing the code, we have simplified the architecture, we reduced repeated code, and are now closer to the spec. Now, this all sounded a little bit abstract, so I'm very happy to hand it over to Jose now, who will give you a first sneak preview of HOPR Diablerets. And that is our latest release now. We have a Medium post that is online right now, which you can check out. And with that, I will stop my presentation here and hand it over to
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you, Sebastian. Let me just briefly share my screen and I'll show you how Diablerets is actually looking on production. So as Sebastian and the rest of the team has been sharing, we actually have improvements. And what you see currently on my screen is two nodes that we have running, right? So the first major change that, for instance, Robert shared is our very first introduction of DEADR, which, as you can see in the past when you were running peers, you see some of the nodes that were connected, but now you also see all the peers that have been announced themselves on chain, right? So this is the first change that Robert was presenting, in a way that now any node in the network that wants to be able to be announced or be accessible by a public IP, they can do so by just being running on a public IP. So HOPR is smart enough to automatically detect whether you're running on a public IP, and of course, by doing that, allows your node to be a relay, right? Which is very important for the network, and that way we are not locked on that way, right? So, and of course, as we have done in the past, you know that you can connect to specific nodes in the network, and you can see and interact with them. So what I have now is two particular nodes that are currently here in my screen. So you can see the usual comments as before. And the second part that I want to comment on is pretty much what Amira was sharing in terms of what we're currently doing, right? So in the past, we always have been using proof of relay, but as Sebastian has been saying, we do a lot of things on the background, and what we wanted to show is pretty much how these things automatically are being doing with the current version, right? So this is probably the last version that you will be able to execute these things manually. And the idea is that all these actions that I'm gonna be presenting are gonna be done in behind the scenes, right? So you're probably already familiar with the open command. So on Diablerets, we actually did a little bit of cleaning on the channels interface. And when you actually execute an open command, so remember, this is the command. Oh, 1 second. I think when we do some of the actions on the network that we actually open a command, then that way provides us with a capability to actually interact with one of the nodes on the network, right? So let me briefly change this and see if. 1 second. Let's see. Let's try this again. Let's open a command, and that way we can try now this. So I think my alias was not. Let's go. Okay.
Maybe while Jose is disconnecting, I can take over for a second here, because what actually just went live is our blog, Amira prepared. You see it on our Medium page, medium.com/HOPRnet. So Amira prepared a pretty nice tutorial walkthrough that shows you not just how you can run it, which Jose is doing here, but in very quick summary, also how you can install it. So we try to make it as easy as is somehow possible. So for the developers among you, that's of course easy, but we try to make it also easy for those of you who have never been developing themselves. There's only one caveat. Unfortunately, right now, we do not support Windows. So if you're in Windows, the best thing that we can recommend is you could run it on a virtual private server, or you could run something that's called Windows Subsystem Linux, WSL2, that also works in order to get this going. So again, go on medium.com/HOPRnet. You'll find this blog here that Amira prepared for us. And yeah, you can just follow the instructions and see what's going on here, how you send messages through the whole system. Good. And with that, I guess I can hand it back to Jose.
Yeah, sorry about that. 1 second. Boom. All right. We're back on track. Okay. So where were we? Yes. So we were trying to open a channel to our beautiful other nodes. So we have Alice on top, Bob on the bottom. And what we have been doing in the past is just opening channels with them, right? So usually what we do is when we open a channel, it gets broadcasted on chain. and that way allows us to get more understanding on what's currently going on in this case. What that actually does on the blockchain is that it sends a message that is called bump channel, and that automatically redeems some of the sends a transfer for some HOPR tokens that are staked in this channel. So that is a little bit what Amira has been saying about. We can make sure that some of these tickets have been doing on that network. Oh, I'm using a node that it's already open, so let's use another one that it's actually doesn't have an open channel. So let's say I have an address here. Okay, here. Now let's open. All right. Oh, we have already this open channel. Oh yeah, so let's have this here. So when you do that, you transfer in 0.01 HOPR tokens to your actual channel. In this case, what it has been doing is that you actually send this channel and you lock this token. So in this particular case, when you close that channel and only the person that issued that channel, it's able to actually to redeem that lock-in tokens, right? So in this case, this channel was opened by Bob. So let me just close it again. And that a transaction is being broadcasted to the blockchain, right? So in this case, as Amir was saying, this is the way that we actually can show. Oh.
Jose, we lost your screen share for a second here.
1 second.
Sometimes the issue that we're facing when we're running on web app is that HOPR is network intensive.
Should be back now on track. Just to complete the part, Sebastian, I just completed the channel, I just canceled this, just closed this particular channel, and then as a result, I managed to get my HOPR tokens back to that particular node that I just used. So if I go here, I go and say channels, say takes a little bit of time to get broadcasted on chain. Let's see, channel, yeah, it should be close, and then my balance should be updated to have minus balance on the actual nodes. So this will be happening. This is already something you're familiar with. This is something that we have been doing, but what we want to showcase is that in this version, you're still going to do it manually, but for the incoming versions, all these operations are going to be behind the scenes. And it's going to be very important for when we do staking and for when we do cover traffic, that actually there will be more to share pretty soon. So that's it on my side, Sebastian. I'll take it for you. And yeah, thank you for the time.
Thank you, Jose. So yeah, this is the latest and greatest release. Very happy. We know that we've been not releasing a lot recently. There's been a lot going on. We had a major code cleanup. Our team has been growing quite a lot. And so I'm looking forward to engaging you all into testing this release. So if you want support on the Diablerets release, I encourage you to...
it looks like we're having internet issues here in some offices. Give us a second.
Anybody not hearing me? So, but I think basically you can head over to the Medium post by Mira, and otherwise go on our Telegram. And on Telegram you can get support from our ambassadors who will help you out getting up to speed on the on the presentation and getting notes funded and so on. So all that is something that ambassadors can help you with. So with that, I will hand it over to Rick, who will talk about some of the DAO topics. Rick, are you with us? I think Rick is disconnected now. If Rick is disconnected now, I'll take over here.
He's muted. 1 second.
I'm not really sure if anybody can hear me because I do have some internet connection issues here. And I cannot hear Sebastian.
No, we can hear you, Rick. Go ahead.
Good. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. So let's talk about the HOPR DAO, which was pretty amazing. As you all know, we are a Swiss association, and as such, the participation of the members, so to say, is very crucial for us and for our success. We believe that the community has a lot of knowledge and can support us to take the best decisions for the HOPR project in various aspects. Sebastian and myself had a great 3-day workshop with Q and the Wandering Editor to start building this DAO. And our approach as such is that we believe that on the one hand side, we as the project, on the other side, you as the community, we both have to learn from each other how things are working and how things are working best and how things are going to work out fine for both of us. And we also have to learn how decisions are taken, because it's not always that easy. Taking the right decision is a complex issue, and therefore we want to move step by step. So we modeled our DAO after the Swiss semi-direct democracy, which is working in Switzerland since a few hundred years and working pretty well for the people here. So we thought we would lean it towards that basic idea. But we also had an absolute novelty and a world premiere. For the first time ever, you, the community, has been able to vote without delegation. No matter on which chain your token is, you have been able to participate and vote for your favorite proposal. Why are we doing things like that? Because if we do something, we want to do it properly. And yes, that also means that sometimes there's results in delays, but it definitely means that participation and therefore the ease of usage is of great importance to us. So everybody who has a HOPR token is able to participate in the DAO. Direct democracy is about making everybody participate. It is inclusive, not excluding or making it difficult to participate. If we are looking at the numbers, we are thrilled to see such a great participation, not only in phase 1, but all the 3 phases. From start to end. The community had to read quite a bit in order to understand the setup. So thank you very much for bearing with us. But finally, 10 very well elaborated proposals reached phase 2. And if you look at the statistics, almost 1,000 posts have been added to the discussion. So we want to thank you all for your interest and your great support. It's of great value to us. Would have never expected such great participation, and therefore we are super thankful for sharing your know-how with us. We all know that community is key, and we hope you can see our effort and especially the time spent in order to take all of you with us. And although it consumes a lot of time for our team, it also helps us to include the community more and more. Since April, we created, therefore, over 14 entry-level bounties, which attracted over 67 applications, and every second impressed us with the results delivered to us. This is a great experience for the entire HOPR team. And no worries, there will be more to come, and there will be also much more sophisticated bounties. So therefore, I kindly ask you, join us now on bitcoin.co and support us in changing data privacy for good. HOPR is also one of the very few blockchain companies who launched its own hardware product. It's a plug-and-play device, so it makes it easy for everybody to participate. No matter if you're an IT crack or if you're new to the scene, till today, these HOPR hardware nodes have been sold in over 39 countries from our partner Avado, which is a very important step towards decentralization, because if we would know who bought these nodes, it wouldn't be decentralized at all. So therefore, we are very happy to have a great partner. Let's have a quick look at our team. In the last 15 months, we have attracted many great outstanding experts, not only the tech department. We have screened through hundreds of applications to find the very best ones, matching the needs of the HOPR project, as well as our culture. And now we are 19 defenders of privacy, most of us living in Switzerland, but spread out through all Europe and Russia. some with pictures, as you may see, and some prefer to remain anonymous. These are the little tailor-made icons from our graphic design department. Plus, of course, our amazing ambassadors who take care of our Telegram communities. And very, very soon, we'll show you more about our newly opened headquarters in Zurich. You've seen the community events post-launch. We did a lot of AMAs and we had a lot of talks. We hope that you liked them. If you know one of the logos or you didn't see one of them, if you're interested, tune in and have a look at what has been done. We've been featured in Hacker Noon, Forbes, Tech Times, Yahoo News, Cointelegraph, and many, many more. And we're really happy that we have so many support, not only for the crypto community itself, but also the influencers and the media. That's it from our side. Thank you very much for your attention. Back to you, Sebastian.
Thank you, Rick. I'm very happy to see how we managed to kind of grow, how we managed to grow together with you as a community and the wider world out there. And yeah, that is actually something that brings up a topic that many of you have been asking about in the past. And I would like to get right into it. So staking at HOPR. So as many of you will know that if you run a HOPR node, you can earn money effectively from two different sources. One is via real traffic. So it's other people who send data through the HOPR network. And then there is this cover traffic. You could also say it's fake traffic, right? It's basically background noise to obfuscate the traffic packets that you send through the network. Now, this cover traffic is a topic that we've been working on and preparing with the tech developments that we outlined in the beginning of the call. It's a little bit delayed because security is our number one priority. And security does not just mean the nodes that we will run to disperse this cover traffic, but also yours, right? So if you stake $10,000 worth of HOPR tokens on your node, we should limit the chances of getting that node exploited and you losing your money. So that is a reason why we're still working behind the scenes to get this optimized. At the same time, we know that many of you have been eagerly waiting for the rewards that this would generate for you, right, as token holders. So what we're doing here now is that we want to soft launch cover traffic via a series of testnets. And these testnets in turn are bootstrapped for those who lock up HOPR tokens. And then if you participate in the testnets, there's additional rewards to participate in, similar to the testnets that we had ahead of the launch at the beginning of the year and last year. So that's just in high level. So let's look at it, what this means in detail. So specifically, you're invited to lock your HOPR tokens until the 17th of January next year. So that's just under 6 months. Locking starts end of July. So in total, that's 175 days. And for that, you get an 18% APR if you're locking your tokens before July 27. So this APR means annual percentage returns, what you would get if you lock these tokens for a long time. For the 6 months, this translates for a return of around 8.75%. You can, of course, also come at a later time. You lock up your tokens at a later time, then you get proportionally less from this from these staking incentives. And to make it even better, testnet participants who help us in building out the HOPR network can earn additional NFTs for boosting their APR. So if you test, you are basically getting additional upsides and earning more on the tokens that you have locked. Now, this staking smart contract and web UI will be somewhat similar to the HOPR farm that some of you are familiar with, and it will launch on July 13th. So that's in just about 2 weeks from now. Additionally, we have something in store for those of you who have been loyal with us for a long time and have been hodling HOPR tokens. I know that the token price and the global crypto markets have not been what all of us were dreaming about. So to make this a little bit better, we're providing additional upsides for those who have been hodling tokens for a long time. The longer you hodled, the higher you can boost your APR up to 33% in total if you were holding HOPR tokens since the launch. And yeah, this is obviously also open to those who have been with us even longer, which is our seed investors. And as an overview and summary to what I just said is the road to cover traffic looks like this. We have in March released our Jungfrau release. There have not been any cover traffic or incentives to run these nodes, so don't worry, you didn't miss out on anything yet. Now, from July on, we will be running a series of test nets. And to join that, you log HOPR tokens, you get rewards for that. So that's the 8.75%. Then you might, if you're a hodler and you were holding tokens and locking them up before July 27th, you're getting additional hodler rewards. Then there's testnets, so you guessed it, additional rewards for testnet participants. And finally, we will soft launch and continuously roll out cover traffic through a series of these testnets, and you can earn additional NFTs. So every NFT that you earn through the series of support is boosting your APR. So we hope you enjoyed it. We hope that this fulfills your desire to do more with your HOPR tokens than you could this far. And to quite honestly also make up for some of the delays that have been due to the tech developments that have been ongoing on our side. And finally, we would invite you to meet us. So my co-founder Rick, Q, and Amira will be along with me at the Ethereum Community Conference. So I will be very much looking forward to being there, seeing as many as you as possible in person in Paris. And yeah, we will have presentations from Q on DAO topics and Amira on some of the tech topics that have been going on. So see you there. And with that, I would like to close it here. Thanks for joining us today, and looking forward to answering questions on Telegram or all the other channels that we have. Thank you very much for your attention, and talk to you all soon. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us.